Good day, grade 8s. Welcome to 2021. Everything is very new for you, and we will walk with you all the way to try and help you through 2021. I'm sorry that we couldn't start school in the normal way, but I'm sure that we will make a plan and get you up to standard ASAP. Please never actually worry to ask me anything. I will be your grade 8 EMS teacher. My name is Miss Greta Nieuwoud, and really I will help you as far as I can. What we're going to do today is we're only going to do revision. Now that's of grade 7. Now you all received your textbooks. So if you can please go to your textbooks and open your books for me on page 8. That is the Successful Economic and Management Science Learners book. I'll quickly give you a minute or what to get to that page. You will see it's revision, term 1. It's all grade 7 work that we're going to revise. Now I trust you will have a lovely year with Cornerstone College, and that you will really make this your place for the next 5 years, and that you will be very happy. Okay, we are on page 8, and I'm quickly going to go with these pages, with you through these pages, that we can see if there's anything. You must please send me a reply on Google Classroom, or advise me what I can assist you with. These are all knowledge that you should have by now. And then maybe we'll take 2 classes for this, but then the 3rd class we will start with real work for grade 8. Now, if you look at page 8, you will see they first discuss the history of money. Now, you all know that money was not in the form that we currently have. Your grandparents perhaps had money, but their grandparents still used other methods of paying for goods that they wanted. So let's quickly go through the history of money on page 8. They say that traditional societies are small communities that have basic needs. Now, even in our own lives, we all have basic needs. The first one is very much, obviously, you need food, you need clothes, and you need shelter for yourself to live in. Now, in all the ages of mankind, we all needed the basic needs for us to survive. Now, the second dot there is traditional societies bartered for goods and services. Bartering is the exchange of goods and services without using money. So let's say I had millies and you had a pig. I would tell you, I give you so much millies if you can give me the pig, and we will just swap actually goods that we are both happy with, and then we have the other person's product. Then they also discuss a promissory note. You also did this last year. It is a written promise to pay for goods and services. In other words, I would have written you a note. You give me something, but I tell you on this promissory note, I will pay for this specific item. Then they say the first coins were made of valuable metals. Now, currently, the metals we use for money is not really valuable, but for every 5 rand that you have in a coin, at the Reserve Bank in Pretoria, they will have something to the value, or gold, or any valuable item they will have for that 5 rand, the value at the Reserve Bank. And that's where they keep actually the valuable worth of money. The first notes were used by the Chinese. The coins and notes of a country are called its currency. So all the 100 and 200 rand and 20 rand notes that we have, as well as all the coins that we have, that is called the currency of South Africa. Now, you all know everything went digital. Actually, that's all you guys really know. When I was a child, we still really didn't know anything about computers or any technology at all. But lately, we are all going online and we are paying our goods electronically via EFT. So let's say your parents pay your school fees, they will go and they will make an EFT payment to the school. Then they say the money has many different functions. It is a unit of value. It is a means of payment. It motivates us to work and it encourages savings. Now, all of your parents and even yourself, if you do a little job for someone, you want money, all right, because you feel you're giving your time and your effort, and the exchange for that will be money. So your parents are at their workplaces, and what do they get at the end of the week or the month? They will get money for everything that they put into their work. Then we get to needs and wants on page 8. Individuals, families, communities, and countries all have various needs. We need water, shelter, clothing. Even families have social, emotional, and spiritual and intellectual needs. Okay, let's say something like spiritual. Maybe we all need to go to church because we have a spiritual need. And at church, we are sort of getting that spiritual need. Communities need housing, healthcare facilities, like hospitals and doctors. We all need that. Education, that's why you guys are here at Cornerstone. You all want the education to get further in life. Water and sanitation services, obviously we all want that. I want a nice bath when I can. I need to use the toilet and I need my environment to be clean. Right, countries need natural resources, land. We know that in South Africa, land is a big issue. We all need land. Now, even if it's just your little house, you need a piece of land. Currently, everybody wants land in our country because they feel it's not actually designated to only to the correct people. So yes, land is a big thing in our country at the moment. Right, we need a well-trained labor force and stable government. Now you all know that the ANC is currently our government. We would like to see that everything of government is stable and that there will be no corruption. Then they discuss primary needs. That is what is essential for survival. That is stuff that you really cannot go without. Now, obviously, the two easy ones will be water and food. Secondary needs, well, let's say my secondary needs is what I would want. Things like, it's not really water and food or normal clothing. Let's say I want sissy boy jeans, or I want a name brand t-shirt, or it's a secondary need. Yes, I do need clothes, but I don't necessarily will not survive without that secondary need. Then our wants. Now, all of you know what you want for your birthday. Okay, even myself, I know what I want. It's not something usually that I need. It is usually a want. It can be that typical iPhone that you want, or it can be a skateboard, or it can be, let's say you want to play games, you want everything that you need to play games, or it's just a bicycle or something that you really want, but actually you can go without it. Then we discuss limited resources. It's fixed amounts of raw materials, labor and money, land and work opportunities. Now, what they're saying with limited resources, people, is we all know that let's say I get a salary. I have a limited amount that I can spend on my livelihoods. Let's say you get pocket money. That is a scarce resource because let's say you have 100 Rand. That 100 Rand is done and over, then there's nothing left for you. If we think of, let's say, something like gold in our country, Yes, we will get at a point where there's no gold to take out of the mines anymore. We're not there yet, but what we need to understand is that everything is limited that you get on Earth. There's only so much of it, and then you cannot use it again. Then they discuss on page 8 goods and services. Goods are the products that you can see and touch. Services are actions that the business perform for you. So goods, I can go to a shop and I can buy some clothes or some toothpaste. That is goods. Services will very much be the doctor renders service to you. In other words, he doesn't sell you a product, but he gives his time to see what is wrong with you. That is services rendered. Then they discuss producers are individuals and businesses that make the goods and offer the services. Let's say a producer of a car manufacturing business. They produce the vehicle in order for us to purchase that vehicle. Now the consumers are the individuals and businesses that buy the goods and services. That's typically you and me. No. We want the stuff, so we will go and buy it. That you will call the consumer. Households are producers and consumers that provide the workforce. Now, what they're saying is here, let's say your mother is working. She's a consumer because she goes to stores and she buys products, but she is also a producer because she gives her time to her workplace in order for them to actually make a profit. Okay, then goods and services must be used efficiently and effectively to conserve resources. This can be done by reusing and recycling. That is quite a big topic at the moment. We all know that please, plastic, recycle, don't just throw it in the dustbin. There are places that will take all the plastic and they will manufacture goods from that again so it doesn't get wasted. Now then we are at inequality and poverty. Right. Socioeconomic imbalances can be caused by the uneven distribution of social and economic resources such as land, education, healthcare, as unfair lawsuits and distribution of resources. Now, unfortunately, in South Africa, we have very much poverty as well as inequality. I mean, some people really just worry about what bread they can put on the table tonight. Other people just think of what new Porsche or Lamborghini they can buy. So it's really such big extremes between the poor and the rich. Now, currently at the moment, also, like you guys are in a private school, you are much more privileged than children that goes to a public school. The type of education that you will get in a private school is much better than in the public school. That's why your parents send you to a private school. So you are actually in a better position than one of your friends that might be in a public school. But even worse, some children aren't even close to a school, so they don't even get education in our country. All right. Let's think of something else. Let's say something like the salaries in Gauteng is, let's say, for a secretary, 15,000 Rand. But then you will get to a place like Alice Ras, a small town, the secretary salary will only be 7,000 Rand. So it's all depends where you are and how good you are off actually. Right, then on page 9, the apartheid area, you all know the damage that apartheid has done to this country. There's a big discrepancy even now between black and white. Well, actually not even only between black and white, also between black and black. I mean, because of apartheid, the white people were more privileged than the black people. At the moment, it is getting better, but what is sad to see is even between blacks, there are so much poverty on the one side and so much rich people on the other side. So it's still very unequal what's going on in our country. Then the second dot on page 9, A good education and job-related skills make it possible to correct economic injustices. What they're saying is if you can get a good qualification, you will hopefully be better off than, let's say, your grandparents were, because there's more job opportunities for you. Then people in urban and rural areas face different challenges with regard to education, housing, wages, public transport. Now, if you go to a rural area, there might be one clinic for, let's say, 30 to 50 kilometers. It's only this one clinic where people can go when they're sick. If you look at a place like Pretoria, there's basically within every 5 kilometers, there's a hospital or there's clinics. So people in a rural area are struggling much more than if you live in a city. Then the last dot there, profitable and stable businesses create sustainable job opportunities. Okay, obviously, if a business is stable, your income will be stable if you work there. Then we discuss the production process. Production involves the manufacture of goods and services that can be used for sale or bartering. It is a process where raw materials are made into goods. Let's take something like wood. Wood in itself can be used to make a fire, but it can also be used to make a product. Let's say that desk in your classroom or that furniture in your house. It was a raw product, which was the wood, but it was converted into nice furniture. Then inputs are the resources and labor a business needs to produce its goods or services. Now people, obviously, let's say I start a business, I need staff to help me in the business, but I also need products to sell. So the products will be my input as well as the staff will be my input. Then your good outputs are the goods and services that are produced. Again, let's go to a car manufacturing business. That end product, the vehicle that comes out of the factory, that will be the output. Renewable resources are sustainable because they can be replaced. Right. In other words, let's say a renewable resource, it can be something like it can be replaced because let's say I have a business where I make jewelry. Obviously, I can get some more gold to make the jewelry. We can use resources sustainably by using resources that cause less harm to the environment, cutting back on our use of non-renewable resources, and using machinery and equipment that use less water and electricity. And what they're saying is, people, yes, we are all worried about the earth at the moment because of all the gases and all the pollution and everything that's going on. So we must try and use resources that is actually not as deadly and toxic to the environment. Now, there's big studies on that, and like, let's say, for instance, let's take something like vehicles. Currently, we are all using fuel or diesel for our vehicles, but you know that at the moment, electric cars are also starting to be part of our lives. And then we will get rid of all those gases of the fuel and the diesel. Then economic growth, people, that is the active growth of the economy. The economy grows when there is a low and stable inflation rate and a low level of unemployment. So let's say in our country, people, yes, with COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs. So we have a very high unemployment figure in South Africa. So at the moment, the economic growth is not that great, but government strives towards it to make more jobs available. Then productivity describes how quickly inputs can be turned into outputs. It also describes the capacity of workers to produce goods or services in a given time. Then they say there, high levels of productivity increase in economic growth because more goods and services are being bought and sold. Now, obviously, you also have to take in consideration there might not be a need for a specific item. Like at the moment, if you think of something like, let's say, the producing of bread, that is very much in high demand. No, but you can maybe look at something like an iPhone. They can produce lots of them, but maybe not a lot of people can afford that. So then there is a limited availability. So you will not produce as much of an item if there's no need for that item. But the higher productivity can be in our country, the better for our economy. Then the last thing there is technology speeds up the production process as machines produce goods more quickly and efficiently. You all know that technology takes over a lot of people's jobs because the actual computer can maybe do the specific job much quicker. But also, if you think of something, let's say a factory, the better the machines, the more they can manufacture. Then entrepreneurship, we will start on that today. Entrepreneurship, people, businesses, and we will discuss the entrepreneur. A formal business keeps normal hours and pay regular wages and tax. Okay, formal business will very much be, let's say, I am working at a factory. They will give me a salary or wages to actually pay for the hours that I am working. An informal business is the opposite. People informal will very much be, let's say, that lady next to the road selling some chips and cool drink. It doesn't matter how many hours she works. She will maybe only have those few items and she will still get the same amount at the end of the day. And the whole time she has to hope that someone buys a product. Then they say some type of businesses can operate in the formal or informal sector. Let's say something like a car wash. Let's say I have a business that do only car washing. That is my business, it is formal. But then you can get someone who says, I will wash your car for 50 Rand, and he's just passing your house or he's just standing next to the road. That will be informal. He's not working for a business. Then natural disasters and health epidemics can cause hardship and financial loss to businesses. Right, natural disasters, people, it can very much be, let's say there's a drought. What happens? There will not be as much meat for the farmers to produce because they have to kill their animals because there's no water. Or there can be something like a tsunami or a cyclone or something that actually damage the business. If you look then at something like health epidemics, we are all in COVID at the moment. It is really making it hard for so many businesses to survive. COVID has really had such a big effect on our economy as well as people's livelihoods. We can just pray that COVID will pass this year ASAP. Then they discuss the entrepreneur on page 9. An entrepreneur is someone who recognizes a need in the community and starts a business to meet that need. Now, let's say I don't find a job. Then I decide, okay, I'm going to work for myself. I should have a nice business idea, all right? Let's say I am staying in a township and I know people are struggling to get hold of bread because it's just a few shops and they are a few miles away. What can I do perhaps? I can start to deliver bread to people's households and make my money because of me delivering the bread. I save those people transport money and I give them a service. So I got this idea of people are struggling with getting hold of their bread. and then I start my own business. Maybe you can have a little vehicle, maybe you just have a few bags that you deliver bread. You will always start small, but then you will grow as the demand gets more and more. Right. Entrepreneurs have special characteristics and skills. They are innovative, creative, organized, trustworthy, resourceful, hardworking. All right, what they're saying is people don't just think money is going to come easy. You will have to work very hard. You will have to have some skills that can get you through this business. There will be hard times, there will be easier times. Right. If I am not trustworthy and my client is waiting for that bread at her house and I didn't drop that bread, obviously she's going to go without food that evening with the family. So that will mean she's not going to buy from me again because I'm not trustworthy. Then entrepreneurs buy, sell, or produce to make a profit. They buy goods and resell them at a higher price. Now, what can typically happen there is, yes, I will buy those bread from Pick n Pay, okay, and then I will go to, let's say I buy that bread for 10 Rand. I will go to my clients and I might sell it for 15 Rand. So what happens then if I only pay 10 Rand for it, the client pays 15 Rand for it, I would have made a profit of 5 Rand.